Arthritis is a very common disease which affects the cartilage between your joints in your body. It can manifest in many ways through pain, stiffness, and immobility of the joint. As you age, there is an increased risk of being diagnosed with arthritis, but younger individuals can get affected as well. One study concluded that if your body mass index is over 35, you are 35 times more likely to be diagnosed with some form of arthritis. In this episode, we will explore how and why your diet and lifestyle is so crucial in the fight against arthritis. Dr. Emerson Boodoo is an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in foot and ankle reconstructive surgery. Dr. Boodoo will explore the causes, symptoms, and treatment of arthritis as he joins us on today's episode of What's Up, Doc?
Today's Vitaminute features biotin or B7. Biotin plays a vital role in assisting enzymes to break down fats, carbohydrates, and proteins in food. It also helps to regulate signals sent by cells and the activity of genes. Biotin is often added to multivitamins and hair, nail, skin supplements, as well as beef liver, eggs, salmon, avocados, pork, sweet potato, nuts, and seeds. And that was today's Vitaminute.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best.
I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WASN,
the Content Capital.
So tell us a little bit about arthritis. How common is it in your practice?
Well, arthritis is very common. As you know, it's a disease of the cartilage. It can affect many joints, particularly the knee joint. I think a substantial amount of patients in our population suffer from knee arthritis. Hip arthritis less likely, followed by shoulder and ankles. I would say about 20% of all the patients in the public sector who sees us over the age of 50 would be coming for some form of arthritis.
One in five of your patients.
It's a lot. And the rest of them, I think they would just be followed up in the primary health care level at the health centers and so forth. But it has affected a substantial portion of the population.
And arthritis essentially is what? Is inflammation?
Yeah, so there are many different types of arthritis. There's osteoarthritis, which is the most common as a disease of the cartilage. You have the inflammatory arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, less likely psoriatic arthritis, traumatic arthritis, but nonetheless, is a disease of the cartilage. So it affects the mobility of the joints. It could manifest as pain, swelling, stiffness, inability to go upstairs and downstairs. So pretty much it affects your activities of daily living.
I mean, you already mentioned that people over the age of 50 most likely to have arthritis. But who else are at risk of developing arthritis?
Right, so the overweight population. And as you know, Trinidad has transitioned traditionally from, getting home-cooked food to recent times everybody buying fast food. And these people, over time, will progress to the overweight category. Right. And there are many level 1 studies out there that have showed a direct correlation between obesity, and they defined in the situation with arthritis, obesity as a BMI, body mass index greater than 35, has a positive correlation with arthritis. They say you're 35% more likely to develop arthritis if your BMI is over 35. So that's a high number. So simple things like losing weight. Now, the patients would approach me, and as you know, in our population, most patients skeptical about surgery. So they want to discuss conservative measures to treat arthritis. They want to discuss, simple things, painkillers, physiotherapy. What they don't want to hear is weight loss. What they don't want to hear is lifestyle modification. And that's essential. That's the root cause, would you say, for most of them? Yeah, of course. I mean, think about it in terms of physics. You have a joint that bears weight. Your entire body weight goes on your knee joint when you stand. And if you were to find a way of reducing that weight, then obviously you could reduce the pressure. Despite the fact that the knee is already damaged, reduced pressure on a damaged knee equates to less pain. Right? So the first question they asked my doc, how you expect me to exercise to lose weight? I was not going to ask you that. If I have arthritis. Pain, and it's pain and it's stiff and you have, but range of motion is gone. Yeah, of course. And my simple answer is, you are what you eat. Diet is so important. If we take two people, and we subject one to exercise 7 days a week, 3 hours a day. But we said, listen, you could eat what you want. You could drink Coca-Cola, eat fast food, but you must exercise 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I take the next clone and I say, you could sit on that chair 24/7, but you eat what I tell you to eat. You stick to a diet. Which person you think would lose weight the fastest? The one who sits and eats. We are what we eat. It takes you, and I mean you run, it takes you 25 kilometers of running to burn 1 Coca-Cola. Yeah. So when you go to the gym or when you run on a treadmill for 25 minutes and for the entire day you eating what you want, you're not burning a fraction of the calories, and obviously it's converted to fat. So diet is the key to losing weight. This is very simple. As a matter of fact, while we're on the topic of diet, certain foods in some patients could aggravate the flares of arthritis. Like what? Right, so some people would have gouty arthritis, as we call it. Yeah. And foods such as citric foods, so the citrus, oranges, Portugals, sometimes alcohol, red meats, these are the things that could trigger arthritis. Yeah. Okay. So it's a holistic approach that I try to adopt in clinic when patients present to me with arthritis, because you can't be on painkillers for long. Yes, most of the guidelines state try to avoid the NSAIDs, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, because as we know, it have side effects on the stomach, the heart, the kidneys, so forth. So simply... But before we go into that, so you mentioned, so risk factors, obesity, number one. Yeah, number one, genetics too. Right. Genetics. So sometimes in certain ethnic populations, sometimes if your family have a history of arthritis, if you're born with certain deformities of the knee, you know, we have either the bow leg or the knock knees, as you would say, you tend to develop arthritis in the compartments which are under pressure. Sometimes your type of work that you do, if it involves stooping for long periods of time, the construction workers, the manual laborers, people who walk up and down steps a lot, you don't have protective footwear and so forth, you would find that over time, a significant substrata of the population will develop arthritis even at an earlier age, in the mid-40s and so forth. And the management for them is a different ball game altogether. What about your athletes then, as you're talking about that? Yeah, well, in the sense, athletes, they're predisposed to getting injuries at the knee. So, you know, you'll have the footballers who tend to get cruciate ligament injuries. Some of the jumpers and stuff, they'll get meniscal injuries at the knee. So in those patients who get injuries early on in life, of course, they have a higher risk of developing arthritis. Yeah, good. Arthritis later on in life. So it's imperative that when we pick up injuries in these population, we deal with it at the point in time.
To kind of mitigate from developing arthritis later on.
Of course.
So apart from the risk factors, now you said already that arthritis of the knee is going to present with pain, swelling, stiffness. So they wouldn't be able to bend their knee as they would like to. Weight bearing is a problem.
Yes, of course. Going up and down stairs, standing for long periods of time, you know, they want to sit, they can't walk from one end of the mall to the other without stopping several times, you know. So
what is patients out there listening to this and they have one or all of these symptoms, what should they do? Right. What is the first step?
Right, so let's break it up into pain. Right? The pain comes not just from the cartilage itself, the receptors, but also from the stiff muscles, the ligaments. So to treat that type of pain, it's what physiotherapy comes in place, weight loss comes in place. We have steroid injections.
Exercise and diet.
Yeah, exercise and diet, back again, natural methods. But I don't want to disregard the importance of medication. It is important. I believe there's a significant role for it. In NICE guidelines, they recommend steroid injections into the joint. It's quite safe, but you know, plenty of patients, once they hear steroids, they think about weight gain and so forth. Yeah. But that's the oral steroids that we traditionally used to use decades ago. Now the intra-articular, which is where you inject it into the joint, stays there. Right. Very minimal diffuses across the bloodstream.
How long would that effect last?
Varies depending on the stage of arthritis you have. I have some patients after a month, 2 months, they come back for next injection, and it is safe to give a next injection within 2 to 3 months. Okay. Whereas we have people with the earlier forms of arthritis, you inject that steroid and it's there for a year, and they go about their activities. And the beauty about the injections is that you may not have to use oral medication for the next year or for the next few months.
That's if you get it earlier, early stage.
Yeah, at the earlier stage, it lasts longer, right? Also, more active people, it might last shorter because you're more active, so more wear and tear of the cartilage. So there's many factors to consider when determining how long the steroid will last in that particular individual.
All right. Yeah. So besides pain relief, anything else that you use in treatment?
So in terms of physiotherapy, you're talking about pain or physiotherapy?
All of it.
All right. I want to mention some additional pain therapy that you can use. Panadol, muscle rubs, all these things are recommended. If we were to jump from pain into about other methods to treat the pain, physiotherapy. Physiotherapy helps to strengthen the muscles, especially the quads in the front and the hamstrings in the back. It helps to lubricate the joints by moving these patients. It is a long journey.
That's a question I have for you. A lot of patients, my patients, fight me on this. They're afraid of exercising because it brings on the pain. Right. So when you tell them, but no, I need you to move your joints. You need to move it, otherwise it gets stiffer and it exacerbates the problem. There's that misconception that if I move it, it's more
painful. Yes.
How do you convince your patients?
I think this is where educating the patients on the importance of physiotherapy comes in. So in my office, I actually have a pamphlet where I would list, I think I have over 12 or 16 exercises, and I would say, listen, start with which exercise doesn't generate much pain. You have your entire life. You don't have to do this in a week or two. I also tell them, if you're in significant pain, you ought to probably get an injection in the knee. With the injection in the knee, it blocks the pain receptors. Right. So for at least that period of time, whether it's going to last 2 weeks, 2 months, a year, etc., you would be able to unmask the full potential of physiotherapy because you have no pain in your knee. And I would say probably about 30% of my patients are afraid to start physio because they are like, if we move, we're going to get more pain, and you tell me I need to move. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of educating the patients, working with them. not all treatments will work for all patients. So we have to taper the treatment to suit that particular individual.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. So it has to be tailored to the
yeah,
patient.
It has, yeah.
What about knee brace? Is there a place for it?
There is. There is a place for knee brace.
What's the best type to use?
It's called an unloader knee brace and is indicated only for patients who have either knock knees or bow knees. So if you have bow knee, you will be loaded in one compartment of the knee.
Right.
The knee brace,
the lateral.
yeah. So so if you have bow knees, you will be loading on the inside. If you have knock knees, you'll be loading on the outside compartment. So it's two different type of braces that you require. The general name is an unloader brace, but what it does is a 3-point loading system that you apply to the knee. It has a hinge, you could remove it, and you pull one strap to sort of crank out the knee in the opposite direction of the deformity. The problem about that is a lot of these patients go to work. So you have this bulky brace that your dress clothes can't fit over, especially in men.
Right.
I think the woman could get away with a long dress or so forth. Compliance to me is the issue. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it's time consuming to put on.
It's advisable once you're up and about, wear your brace.
You have to wear the brace, yeah.
Right.
Even better is the insoles, right? The insoles.
Really?
Yeah. The insoles indirectly offloads the knee. So for instance, if you have a knock knee, you put insoles in your shoes against the deformity and it swings your foot in the opposite direction. So a lot of my patients, they tend to go towards the insoles rather than the bulky knee brace. The principle is the same for both. It just redirects the knee into the opposite compartment so that you would not load that compartment that is affected. So that is a very interesting area. As a matter of fact, I had this patient a couple of years ago who came from Italy, and I saw her x-rays, and it was terrifying. I was like, you need a knee replacement. She was like, Doc, I've been living in Italy for 20 years. I have an insole. I just came for you to write a referral for me to renew my insole as it was wearing out.
Oh, wow.
I'm very happy.
Yes.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of things that different countries use, we ought to encourage that in our population because, especially in the public sector, it takes a long while before one you could get an appointment and before you could get surgery and so forth.
Let me ask you about surgery, though. I mean, surgery is like the end.
The end,
end stage, worst case scenario. You get, you need to get treatment via surgery. What should I be looking for in my relative to say, hey, I think we might need to go to see an orthopedic surgeon because you look like you need knee replacement. What does that look like?
Right. So, by and large, the patients who need a knee replacement are the patients who fail the conservative management. So you have tried everything on them: physiotherapy, weight loss, pain medication, multiple steroid injections, and their quality of life just isn't getting better. They sit most days. They constantly need increased doses of pain medication and so forth. And these patients, I would say, are the patients who require a knee replacement. Knee replacement, it doesn't sound well when you tell a patient.
But what is downtime for knee replacement?
You could walk the next day.
So, so I would like, for you to tell the viewers that it's not, I mean, yes, it sounds bad, but it actually gives them a lease on life.
Yeah, of course.
So next day you're up, and you have to be up to start to use the knee.
You have to be up to start to move your knee.
Great.
It's a brand new, it's like replacing a part in a car. We are not repairing anything. We are not fixing anything. We are putting a brand new part in your knee. So theoretically, your knee is better than mine when we put it. Of course, you'll have pain and discomfort from surgery, but we give you medication for that. I think that's patient's number one fear. When they wake up from surgery, they equate the pain to something needs to heal still. So I still need to wait for that to heal because something will break. So it's very important that you have, whether it's sheets or you have some form of educational material to give the patients beforehand to let them know what to expect and the time frame in which to move. And I focus on that a lot. So the day after the surgery, my patient's already well aware, I need to move my knee, I need to walk.
I got you.
Dr. Budu said, nothing is going to go wrong with my knee, let me move. And sometimes having previous patients who did surgery come and communicate with the patients who are going to do surgery, I think that is a gem.
So, Doc, before we go, I mean, this was absolutely informative, and I didn't realize, too, it was day after. You were supposed to be up and about. Before we go, what one piece of advice you would want to leave with the viewers, that little gold nugget about arthritis that you want them to remember? Right.
So I think there are modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors with regards. You can't modify genetics, but the simple things that we can use, simple footwear, proper footwear, exercises, stretching the muscles, trying to control your weight is very important. If you have an injury, seek medical care. Don't let it go unnoticed, because this could be a risk factor for developing traumatic arthritis later on the knees. These are the things that you need to focus on, because it does affect you at a relatively young age, in your mid-50s and so forth. So if you're to focus on these risk factors, then to me, it will help a large portion of the population, probably prolong, I should say, the inevitable, because inevitably you will develop arthritis. We are like a car.
So diet, exercise, and seek your medical profession once you got an injury.
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity, from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas, and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sport?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
7 is out, all day is in. WESN News on the hour.
Balancing your career and work with your personal life is a struggle.
I thought it was a good example I was setting for my kids. So they would see hard work, perseverance, long hours pays off. But I never felt like I could have achieved enough. It was never enough.
A lot of people, because of those trauma and original sensitizing events and how we were brought up, we tend to put ourselves last. We tend to put other people first, work first, other people, and we tend to put ourselves last. And that is a recipe for disaster.